Never have. Why am I keep saying it like that? Why can't I? Words escape me. Well, all right. What's up, YouTube? Jax here in the car on the interstate doing a Vette vlog because last Sunday something monumental happened and it set the internet on fire. Well, at least the car enthusiast community, of which I am a part. The new series of Top Gear debuted on BBC, well here, BBC America, with the new hosts, Chris Evans, Matt LeBlanc, Sabine Schmitz, some old British guy, Rory something or other, and my personal favorite, Chris Harris. All right, these are the new hosts along with the Stig of Top Gear. Episode 1 dropped Sunday night. If you haven't heard already, it was sort of a disaster, really, if I'm being honest. Let me explain why. I'm about the biggest Top Gear fan you'll ever meet. I've watched the original trio, Jeremy, Richard, James, since the beginning, way back in like 2002, all the way up to season 22, or series 22 as they say in Britain, until Jeremy punched a dude in the face and got fired, and then everybody quit and the show kind of imploded. Nobody knew what the future of the show would be. If you've never seen Top Gear, I would recommend, personally, this is my personal recommendation, seasons 10 through 14 are particularly good. By the end, you know, the humor became a little self-referential and they started to wink at the camera almost in the jokes, but it was still great. They still did a great job sort of scripting a show and passing it off as spontaneous and real. It interacted with the audience in a way that most other shows could only dream of. You felt like you were part of their little brotherhood, their little group of people that liked cars, and it felt good. It felt special, and I think it was. I think it was special. I think it was unique. The new Top Gear wants to capture that. I didn't have anything against the hosts when they were announced. I'm a big fan of Chris Harris in particular. I think he's one of the best automotive journalists out there today, working, period. He's amazing. But the tone of the show, it was off right from the start. All right, let's address Chris Evans first. As a host, Chris Evans is best described as a bit manic. He does a lot of yelling. He does a lot of what I would call priming the audience, which Jeremy and them never really did. In fact, one of the things that made Jeremy and Richard and James so successful, in my opinion, was the lack of audience interaction. They didn't need the approval of the audience. The audience was there just like all of us, the viewers, were there. They were there to witness a spectacle. They were there to watch something take shape. And so Jeremy and the other presenters didn't feel the need to interact with them. They didn't feel like they had to pander to the audience. They were giving the audience something, and the audience would react however they reacted. Chris Evans constantly primes the audience. Would you like to see that? Would you be excited to see that? Are you guys ready? I'm not trying to do a British accent. I really don't know why I was talking that way just then. It was kind of awkward. Anyway, Chris Evans primes the audience with these sort of overexcited, like, are you guys ready to see this shenanigans that are about to unfold? It feels very forced and awkward. When Matt LeBlanc comes out, we all know Matt LeBlanc as Joey from Friends. I'm sure Matt LeBlanc is tired of us all knowing him as Joey from Friends, but that's who he is. He was on one of the most popular television series of all time. He's Joey from Friends. In real life, he's a huge gearhead or petrol head over there. I think the addition of him to the show was not a bad idea. Matt LeBlanc brings a level of credibility. He brings a level of cool. He definitely is the more reserved of the two presenters, but at times he's almost too reserved. Like he's not quite sure what they want from him. Do they want him to be like, oh, the token American? Like, I don't understand your Britishisms. Which is kind of funny at times. When Chris Evans and Matt LeBlanc compete in a sort of randomly strung together series of Britain versus United States. It works at times, his I don't understand your British things. There's no real overarching plot to the segment. They start off in Reliant Robins, which, let's go ahead and stop there. Top Gear, you did the Reliant Robin in one of the most brilliant vignettes ever done on Top Gear. Jeremy rolling the Reliant Robin is seriously one of the funniest bits they ever did. It's legendary. Don't touch the Reliant Robin ever again, ever. No more. The Reliant Robin is dead to you. You did it. It can't be topped. You can't top it. It's seriously one of the funniest things ever. Even people that don't like Top Gear. My wife is so uninterested in Top Gear and thinks that's one of the funniest things she's ever seen. Okay, you can't do the Reliant Robin. So they start off with 2 Reliant Robins, and oh, the Reliant Robin's not a good car, haha. They don't do anything with it. Matt LeBlanc's Reliant Robin breaks down, and then Chris Evans helps him. Now, if that doesn't sort of violate the spirit of the original trio, I don't know what does. Part of the humor was them going peace out and leaving each other behind, often in hilariously uncomfortable situations. But Matt LeBlanc's Reliant Robin breaks down, and then they put it on a flatbed, and then they just drive to the destination. And then when they get there, they take part in some weird 4x4 challenge using a Willys Jeep and a Series 1 Land Rover. Why? Like, how do those two ideas connect? What's the overarching plot? What's the theme of the film? What's the point of the film? I mean, they're supposed to connect in some way, right? Other than you're American and I'm British, hardy, har, 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 we speak the same language, but it's different. No, that's dumb. They have this sort of forced competition up a mountain with a strongman and like some British triathlete that we're supposed to know who he is. They don't even really bother to introduce the guy. At least when the original trio introduced a British person that we might not know, they'd be like, this is, who was this skier? Amy Williams, was that her name? Who was not the skier, the luge girl, the skeleton racer, you know who I'm talking about. They introduced her. We knew she was a gold medalist in that particular event in the Winter Olympics, and they were very proud of her. Chris Evans just introduces a guy, and he's like, hey, aha, this guy, I've got this guy with me, you know, this guy. And I'm like, I have no idea who that is. I'm not even interested in who that is because he's just some guy. And Matt LeBlanc introduces a guy, he's like, he's a strong man and he's American. Okay, I mean, at least I know he's a strong man and is like world's strongest man competitor or something. It just felt so off. Like, what were they racing for? What was it, for glory? Was it for competition? If it was for glory, having Chris Evans cheat to win and then sort of laugh about it and then say Matt LeBlanc won, I don't really understand how that makes one superior to the other, whether they were going for a British win or an American win. I don't know. Throw Matt LeBlanc a bone. It seemed like it, but it just felt really off. The tone felt off. It didn't capture that spirit, that, you know, I hate you, but I love you kind of spirit that the original trio had. And look, I'm sorry, let me apologize right now. I'm sorry that I keep comparing it to the original trio, but it's inevitable. You have to. Those three defined what a car show should be. And I would argue, and I don't think it's an exaggeration, they defined what an entertainment show could be. That it could be about a topic that a lot of people had no interest in, but they would still watch it anyway because it was so funny and so good. And even in the side films when Jeremy would talk about a classic car and how it was better than a modern car because of the organic and analog interaction that you had with it, it was touching, it was heartfelt. You believed he actually meant it whether or not he did. I miss that. I miss feeling that way while watching the series. That brotherhood isn't there. And of course it's not, because you just threw it together a bunch of random people. Chris Evans and Sabine Schmidt's film at the beginning. Cool, I guess. Playing laser tag essentially with a Dodge Viper and a Corvette. But it didn't really offer much content on either of the cars. They repeated the fact that the Viper generates a ton of downforce numerous times. Sabine Schmidt made a comment that the Corvette drove horribly. I actually care what she thinks because, you know, she's a professional race car driver. But that was it. She made a crack about it handling horribly, like a Ferrari or something, which I thought, well, that's interesting. And then that was it. That was all. And then she lost to Chris Evans. Really? He's like a radio host. A professional race car driver, queen of the Nürburgring, lost to an awkward ginger man radio host. I highly doubt that. The Top Gun references were kind of funny in that segment, but aside from that, it was a bit lacking. So overall, the first episode of New Top Gear was kind of a disaster. The film with Chris and Matt went on too long and had no point. The opening film with the Viper ACR and Corvette Z06 totally missed the opportunity to showcase what a weapon those two cars are. Especially considering the Viper ran the Top Gear test track and had like the 3rd or 4th fastest time ever. That's impressive, seriously impressive. But they didn't talk about it at all, except make the usual kind of cracks like, well, it's got an inefficient engine because it's so big and makes this power. It doesn't matter. Look what it did running the track, and they barely made a peep about it. Jeremy Richard especially would have gushed over the Viper's performance, being the American guy. And I don't even know if that's real or if that's just something they came up with, a role for him to play, but it doesn't matter. It was funny, and it would have given him an opportunity to talk about it. They missed the mark. Apparently tonight, there's going to be more shenanigans. I don't want to make a vlog out of every Top Gear episode because I would probably lose every subscriber that I had, because you guys would be like, I don't care about Top Gear nearly as much as you do. Peace out and leave. I do want to revisit this topic maybe halfway through the series or towards the end of the series. Let me put it this way. If you like my ramblings on New Top Gear, aside from liking and subscribing, let me know. If you don't and just want me to end it here and say New Top Gear is not as good, then we'll just stop here, okay? I'm gonna leave it up to you guys. If I don't hear back, I'm gonna assume you want a lot more. You wanna hear like about every episode. I'm kidding, I'm not gonna do every episode, that'd be awful. I'll maybe revisit the topic at episode 6, or maybe just at the end, I don't know. We'll look at the series as a whole, and I wanna be fair, okay? I promise you, I won't talk about it again until then. And we'll definitely revisit the topic when the Grand Tour comes out. If you don't know, that's the new title of Jeremy James and Richard's Amazon series that drops this fall. So we'll revisit this topic when the Grand Tour debuts and see if the boys can recapture the Top Gear magic. I think they can, because they've got Andy Willman, who is the executive producer. Most people, again, I'm a huge Top Gear dork. Most people don't know who Andy Willman is. Andy Willman was a friend of Jeremy's, helped start the new version of the show that they grew into what became Top Gear. And he is responsible for a lot of what made Top Gear what it is, him and Jeremy. When Jeremy, James, and Richard quit, he did too. And when Amazon hired them, they hired all of them. You've got all the components, you've got all the ingredients. Will the final product be as good? I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see. Anyway, I'm done, you're done, we're all done. We're done talking about Top Gear. I'm sorry, I couldn't talk all day about Top Gear, I just love it. It's my dream job. You know, if this YouTube channel grew and I had more than like 6 views a video, my dream would be to be Jeremy, to be the next host of Top Gear, or take over Top Gear America. Good Lord, what a disaster that is half the time. But I'm not gonna go into that because you already know that. So thanks for watching, thanks for tuning in. Shoot me a like and a subscribe if you want to talk more Top Gear, or shoot me a dislike and I hate your guts if you want me to shut up. Anyway, this is Jax, this is Vette Vlogs. More Top Gear, maybe yes, maybe no in the future. I'll catch you next time. Peace.